So My Hero Academia just ended, and we're going to talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to Everything Anime Podcast. I'm your host Shinry. Here at the Everything Anime Podcast, talk about some anime, manga, video games, TV shows, whatever relevant topic I talk about. Today's video is on the end of My Hero Academia. It's finally over. 430 chapters. My Hero Academia has come to an end. Now, I didn't know where to start. I know I made a few videos on here about My Hero Academia, especially the war arc. Things that I loved, things that I didn't like, things I felt like could have been different. And I don't really want to go into those full points. It's more just talking, I guess. These are just kind of fresh thoughts. I love the outcome between what is the Fire and Ice guy, I think his name is Shoto, and his brother Dabi. The resolution of that over these last few chapters, the last few ending chapters, was pretty great. How Endeavor and the whole family went to talk to Dabi, apologized to him, like all of them. They said their sorries and goodbyes. And it was elevating his heart rate because Dabi at that point was basically dead. He was clinging to life, but if you excited him too much, made him too angry, he like lost control and his heart would explode. And they would keep him alive as long as possible. That's what the doctor's whole intentions were. Keep Dabi alive as long as possible. And Shoto kind of calms him down. It's like, hey, what's your favorite food? And he's like so confused about it. He's like, my favorite food. And Shoto was like, oh yeah, mine's this ice cream or whatever it was. And his brother doesn't reply, and they turn to leave, but it calms his heart rate. And just as he dies, Dabi replies, his brother, I think his brother's real name is Toga, but he finally replies, that's my favorite too. And I thought that was pretty great. It got me in the chills. It gave me happiness. It gave me joy. I love that. Another major thing towards the ending was the Animorph dude, the heteromorph, the monster guy, the main lizard dude, the one that was like all Shigaraki, like #1 fan. I talked about this racism point at one point during the war. I don't remember exactly when, but it came out of nowhere. Like the racism against heteromorphs or whatever they're called. We never saw that in all of My Hero Academia. That is like a plot point you just introduced in the war, and then you brushed over it almost immediately. That was apparently like the lizard guy's whole thing. Like we're hated against because we look different or we're mutant looking. We even had one in Class A that was not treated like that. Not by his classmates, not by other people. And again, because the story revolved around Deku, we didn't really see other people. We had the Rookie 9 treatment with all of Class 1A. If you were not Bakugo, Deku, or Ochako, which I love her, you basically were background fodder. You were important, but we didn't really get much from you. So this lizard guy having this conversation with Deku and making it seem all important, and I didn't really get it because I talked about that when that chapter happened, like the racism. Like, look at all my friends behind me, and he's all alone. I'm like, I didn't get it because we didn't get much from you, lizard guy. I mean, that's why I don't even remember your name. We didn't get much from that. And I think, again, 50 more chapters, the war a little bit longer, or add a whole arc about heteromorph racism or dislike or discomfort, or, that could have helped us be drawn to that character more. The Dabi thing was excellent. That was done excellent. The Ochako and Himiko Toga resolution was excellent. Loved that. Speaking of Himiko Toga, because I already made a video about that. If you want to check out that video, all my thoughts about the fight between Ochako and Himiko Toga, definitely check it out. I love that, gushed about it. But speaking about that, there's no shipping confirmed. I kind of like that. I kind of like that these are like, well, there's an 8-year later time skip. I'm going to just say that another 8-year later time skip where it's basically find out that like, this was before the time skip. So pre-time skip, Deku races to find Ochako crying on this mountain about like Himiko Toga could have lived if I could have reached her a little bit faster, if I could have had that conversation with her about love a little bit before, we got to that fight. And Deku showed up for her, and I thought it was gonna be like, I admit that I love you, you love me kind of thing, but that's not what happened. Instead, all of their friends showed up. All of Class 1A showed up. They were like, hey, Ochako, we're here for you. You know, you can cry to us. Don't keep it all in. Because Deku, that's the reason when Deku was there. He's like, I know that you're crying. I know that you're sad. Speaking of, we're going to talk about something in a second that relates to this 8-year time skip and specific to the ending. But, like, he's like, I know that you're sad. And then everybody showed up. And that was pretty cool, but I still thought, like, him and Ochako would end up together. That's not exactly what happens. Then we skipped 8 years later, and everybody's an adult. Everybody's a hero but Deku. We found out Deku lost all of One for All because what I was going to bring up is whenever he showed up to Ochako 8 years in the past, he was talking about he had the last embers of One for All. And so I was thinking, okay, like, you're going to be like, oh my, you're going to pass it on to somebody else. But when we jump over to 8 years in the future, Deku's lost all of One for All. It's all gone. And even though we talk to this one main new character, this one kid who has the same powers like Minato, where he can, like, create objects and throw them out of his hair, he tells, you know, the kid like, can I be a hero? And Deku tells him, just like All Might said, like, we're all capable of being heroes. And it was kind of going to end on that note, I thought. But Deku doesn't give him One for All because One for All is gone. Officially. But that's not even the true ending because, yes, he inspires that kid to become a hero. You can continue the story. You continue your own story, but it ends with Deku getting a suit from All Might that's kind of like a suit of armor that has all the powers similar to One for All. And so now Deku can use all the One for All abilities in this, like, mech suit. So not having the powers, but having the abilities that he knows how to use already and is familiar with, even though it's going to be like a tiger and bunny situation. Like, you're not a superpowered hero, but you have, like, a mech suit that can do that kind of stuff. That was interesting. And then, you know, the line changes from, like, this is the story how I became the world's greatest hero to this is the story how we all became the world's greatest heroes. Which I understand why you changed that, because Class 1A. But, again, Class 1A got the Rookie 9 treatment. Like, we didn't get to see all of them grow. We didn't get to see Mineta do anything cool. We didn't get to see, you know, we saw the Invisible Girl visible for a second. That was great. I love that. We got to see, you know, Uraka evolve. Love that. But, yeah, and Shoto, of course, because he's one of the main characters. But, like, not many people had that much growth in Class 1A, so I didn't feel what you wanted me to feel in that last panel. And getting to the war arc, which I said I talked about at the very end, I didn't like the way All For One was taken out. Like, this is your big bad, and basically all you did was hit him with a big punch. Like, I liked that everybody showed up. It was like you were trying to do like a Obito and Madara versus the Fourth Shinobi Alliance. Fourth Shinobi Alliance. You know, Aizen versus all of the captains from Bleach at once. We haven't got there in One Piece. You know, I get what you were going for, but All For One was getting his ass kicked the moment he showed up every fucking time. He got his ass put by Bakugo, almost lost to Iron Might. You know, I didn't feel it from All For One as this, like, major threatening antagonist. He wasn't given that. He wasn't even. He did less damage than Shigaraki. Shigaraki was a much better final villain. Although, like I said, for all the hype you were giving All For One, he was not that intimidating compared to Shigaraki. He just wasn't. Shigaraki's decay ability and all the things Shigaraki could do was on a way higher level than All For One. And guess, even after you killed All For One, he came back in Shigaraki's body and took it over at the last minute. Whatever. That was pretty fucking stupid. I don't care. Because you had been doing that back and forth. I got to take over Shigaraki's body over and over again. And then we never saw Shigaraki's face. I mean, we never saw All For One's face. We did see his human face. And we never got Deku's father confirmed. Deku's father was never seen in the series. Deku's father is like Ash's father from Pokemon. Like, you do not see him. It did not happen. Which was interesting. I don't need to see who Deku's father is. I don't need to see who Ash Ketchum's father is. But I just, like, it's just something to note, like, that theory that people kept saying, like, All For One is definitely Deku's father, never was confirmed. Deku has no reaction to that man's face. And it wasn't even related to Shigaraki because he told Shigaraki's dad what to do. All For One influenced Shigaraki's dad to beat him and shit like that. So, yeah, I mean, That was kind of meh. The whole war was kind of meh, except for the parts about Dabi and Shoto, the Endeavor family, and the parts about Ochako and Himikotoga, which I gushed about. But the rest of the war was just kind of like a bunch of random fights, a bunch of random things happening, stalling for Deku to get there. And Deku is not Luffy. Deku is not Ichigo. Deku is not Naruto. Like, he showed up to the battlefield, and yes, I know him and Shigaraki had, like, their thing, their rivalry, their, like, talk from, like, the beginning of My Hero Academia where they ran into each other in that, like, open space, that mall or whatever. So, again, I like that Shigaraki was near the final villain, basically was the final villain. I don't consider All For One the major final villain, but, like, I wish it was just more substance. Like I said, the racism with the heteromorphs, we did not get enough of that. That just came out of nowhere. The lizard's motivation came out of nowhere. I liked Double. Double was a great villain. Double's motivation was great. I love how Double died. I love Double's final ability. The magician guy, who I forgot, I think he turns people into balls or marbles or something. Don't even remember what happened to him. I think he died. I don't really recall. The warp-faced guy that was related to Eraser and this radio guy, that really seemed like it came out of nowhere, and I don't even remember if it got resolved. I don't think it did. But yeah, and then like their final jobs, like Bakugo was a celebrity, Yurahaka, Froppy, the engine guy, and the heteromorph. The heteromorph guy is basically leading like a peaceful Nobel Prize for all of the heteromorphs, and then like I said, Froppy, engine guy, Ochako, and somebody else. They're like in charge of like just being heroes to like the normal society, just like going to schools, talking to kids, because the villain emerges. There aren't new villains rising up. Like, all the villains are gone. Pretty much. So, because they're afraid of these new heroes. And then, what else? I mean, I think that's it. Like I said, Shoto, he went to see his brother. His brother died. I know people are less focusing on him being Endeavor's son and, like, seeing him as his own hero. That's great. That's awesome. That's good for him. Deku became a teacher without powers, like he's just a teacher, or he's like a something like that. I think Deku's like a basic teacher, which is fine. I mean, he doesn't need nothing crazy, but like I said, he's given a suit at the very end where he can now fight crime. All Might is still alive somehow, even though I thought the whole thing about All Might was that he was dying, but All Might's alive. He just doesn't have his powers. So I mean, whatever with that. Yeah, overall, I mean, it's a fine manga. I definitely recommend early My Hero Academia up until like Dark Deku. When Dark Deku Saga happened, Evil Deku, Dark Hero, Anti-Hero Deku happened, the story kind of flopped. Like, you feel like a hard left. And it was only like 7 chapters. Like, Deku didn't even go full dark mode for a long time. He fought like one person, a sniper woman, and then the class 1A caught up to him and they all talked to him. And again, we didn't really see him interact with them much. Like, yeah, we had the school concert thing with Eri, which, oh yeah, let's speak about that. Eri with the horn and her rewind power, she does nothing. She was shown in the war, seemed like she was going to help Deku, seemed like she was going to help him go, like how he fought against a guy from like with that plague-looking mask guy. Eri does not help him in the fight. They even stop her. They're like, hey, you can't go out and do that. You're still a little kid. You're still a child. So that doesn't happen. Oh, I think they give the horn to Deku to give his arm back, because Deku loses his arm at some point fighting all for one, but again, very underwhelming. The author could have been rushed. I think the author did get sick or had hand cramps. These manga artists, they do spend a lot of time writing and drawing constantly. They're in the worst conditions that any writer could ever be in, and we love their story. So I am gonna give my respect to My Hero Academia. I'm giving it the respect now. I still love it. A lot of the characters touch me and are great, especially Ochako. I would get an Ochako figure. I would probably get a Himikotoga figure, but and a double figure, but I just wasn't drawn to the rest of the characters. And yeah, I mean, because the war arc, it just happens, it just starts. Yeah, and that was another one that had a complaint with that. Like, I remember a comic historian, manga historian, when he talked about it, he was like, the war just started out of nowhere. It just started. So that was just kind of random. And, and All For One just floating down like he's fucking, like the baddest bitch. He's just like, oh yeah, I'm here. Like, it was underwhelming. Especially the resolution, most of the fighting. I have talked about throughout the anime or the manga reviews, even about that one fight between Iron Might and All For One. I talked about it, like the two losses, one win. I was like, because All Might won twice technically. He took down All Might. He took down All For One in their first fight. He got fatally wounded. He took him down again in the school, and then this third fight where Iron Might lost, when it seemed like Iron Might might win. So yeah, but again, that was just, it wasn't that great in my opinion. I don't know. I can't say. I can say this: if I wrote My Hero Academia, I would have done what I would have done with the Rookie Nine in Naruto. I would have had Deku be on teams with these other characters, flesh out their backstories a little bit more, give them their own personal motivations. As a writer of Shobu vs. Shinry, the Sword of Light that introduces, even Shobu Samurai had a lot of characters. If you read my books, every character from the Prince of Weapons to Keto Gourmet to Trey Azuma to what did I call him? He was in, I want to call him Shikamaru, but that's not his name. Sakamoto Nara from Enter the Dread Zone 2. They all had their motivations. They all had their own personal goals, and it all made sense, especially in the end. Leorio was one of my favorite characters from Enter the Dread Zone 2 that I created. He's a Himakila. Shut up. You're spoiling your book. But I know how to make other character motivations great while still having Shobu Shinry have their spotlight. Shobu Samurai, Shinry Rikai, Xana Kuriai, Taketo Karafuda, and Makoto III are the main characters. But I know how to write side characters have great backstories, Puck being one of them. I remember someone read my book. Her name on Instagram is She Reads and Reviews. She told me she cried reading the part about Puck's backstory. That happens out of nowhere. Now, we know who Puck is by that point, but when his backstory started, she said she cried. She's like, it was such a beautiful transition. It was set at the right time. It was done at the right time, and the resolution of it. Giving your side characters personal motivations while still hyping up your main character, still letting them be the HBIC, the headed bitch in charge, you can still do that and make your side characters vital and important. And I feel like I would have done that with Class 1A. I would have given the engine guy a little bit more to do. I like his powers. I like his ability. I like his suit. Ochako and Himoto Toga, as like I said, it was great. I've already gushed about that. And it was very short, very simple, they just want to have a conversation about love. The whole Dobby situation, the whole backstory and the resolution, love that. Especially the ending, like I just said, like you get that full resolution at the end. But even during that fight with them, I loved it. It was great. The whole Deborah family showing up and stopping him together. Love that. But there's just other characters that you still could have fleshed out. Mineta could have been Usopp. Mineta could have been vital to the ending. Yes, his power is stupid. We thought Usopp with the slingshot. I hated Usopp at the beginning of One Piece. But Usopp immediately grew on me after Alabasta. Usopp showed how he is vital. Usopp is the marksman of the crew. You will never get far about Usopp. And he showed his most vitalness in One Piece film Red. Mineta could have done something cool. I'm not saying Mineta is a great character. I'm just saying, if you're going to have a gag character with a silly power, make it vital somehow. I don't know. Maybe that power is the only way to stop All For One from gathering other abilities. I don't know. Or maybe the ability's so stupid, he's like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this. I don't know. I would have done something with Class 1A. A lot more. Flesh them out. Apparently, like, the guy, the red brick guy, the guy that hardens himself, he's a movie star, and Dark Shadow, or whatever his name is, he has a cologne. It's like a background thing. I was like, this is all random resolutions. These all mean nothing. This is just random shit in the background. So, yeah. But again, no hate on My Hero Academia. This is not My Hero Academia hate video. I loved My Hero Academia. I loved parts of it. It's just, like I said, after anti-hero Deku arc to the war to the ending, kind of sloppy a little bit. I would have added a few more chapters, at least better story beats in there. Mix them in there. Make the Dark Hero arc a little bit longer. Over the Dark Hero arc, show that heteromorph racism. Let him see it from like the perspective of like, oh, I'm not a hero. Oh, you like one of those heteromorph things. Like, show the racism there. I don't know. It needed more. The trader arc that we got that was pretty short. That turns out it was a naval guy that can shoot beams of light from his belly button. That was random. I mean, I didn't mind him being the traitor, especially when you first showed he was a traitor. Then you tried to trick us think it was the Invisible Girl. Then we found out it is the light beam belly button guy because he like his family owed all for one like a debt because they gave their son powers. I would have made it better, made it a little bit tighter, you know. But yeah, this video is getting pretty long, and I'm just talking out my notes. No panels, no, nothing crazy getting added to this video. Just me talking about my thoughts on the ending of My Hero Academia. But overall, like I said, it's a great series. I overall enjoyed it and loved it. I wish the author of My Hero Academia, if it just continue making more anime and manga in the future, I'll definitely read it. Definitely check it out. But yeah, just a little bit tighter, you know, just maybe 50 more chapters of like fleshing out Dark Hero arc or fleshing out the racism with the heteromorphs or giving that lizard guy more backstory with Shigaraki. Let us understand him a little bit more. Or maybe all of the League of Villains, like, you know, have the League of Villains be like some enemies that we face throughout before we get into a war arc with all of them. Like, let us see, you know, some motivations from them. But overall, the ending of your story is what matters. It's what you're going to remember most. And I can say there are definitely some strong story beats towards the end, but I felt like it ended on a whimper when it could have been even better. Anyways, guys, that's my thoughts on the ending of My Hero Academia. If you read it and you're caught up, let me know what you think in the comments below. We can have a conversation about it. But for now, I'll talk to you guys later. See you guys later. Bye. Hey guys, this video was sponsored by me, the author of the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne, and Monsterverse. So I figured I'd do this outro a little bit different by showing you guys what you guys will be checking out. So, the Shinry series starts with Book 1, Shobu Samurai Project Aryoku. 10 years after the death of his parents, Shobu Samurai returns home seeking vengeance, but instead faces the choice to save his home from shadow creatures, blood beasts, and an organization once thought dead. Shinry's Shobu Samurai starts at $9.99. And if you love anime, manga, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, Shaman King, Rave Master, Zatch Bell, anything like that, the Shinry series is definitely the series for you. You'll definitely want to check it out. The Sword of Light is probably the thickest one so far. And then these books are two. This is Enter the Dread Zone Tournament. And the series original ending, Arado, the Legendary Conjuring Master. So, and I'll just show you guys some of the covers. Really proud of all of these. But I hope you guys check it out. If you don't like that, I also have the current published books for the Chronicles of Wayne, Love Be Damned, Cotton Candy, Full Moons, Fabled Lovers, A Cursed Virgin's Bite. If You Go Where Monsters Dance, Red Will Rain Over Your House. Love Be Damned. Now, the Chronicles of Wayne is about a geeky guy, or a nerdy guy in high school. His senior year, he has a crush on the hottest guy in school, because of course he does. He's only got one best friend, and her name is Barb. Well, the hottest guy in school turns out to be a werewolf. And to make the story more interesting, he bites Wayne and turns Wayne into the first ever wolfman in the last 10 years. And because of that, it was also a sacred law that wolfmen should never be created. I don't want to get into too much of the Chronicles of Wayne without spoiling it, but I can tell you it's very short. This one sells for $6.99, and Love Be Caged right after it. The ending of this trilogy, Love Be Liberated, comes out in October. So I'm going to definitely do a more full in-depth review of this one. But yeah, it's an LGBT fantasy fiction story about werewolves, vampires, white witches, a dark warlock, and, well, many, many more surprises to come. So if you guys like to read, I definitely recommend. These are all the books so far in the Shinry series, except for Shinry's Beginning. I do have that one, but it's just not here with me. But yeah, I appreciate a like, support, or just a review on Amazon. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.